Shalom everyone, this is Sophia the American Mariam, and this video we're going to talk about the timeline. So I'm really getting sick of people saying that we're going into Aquarius. So let me explain to you what timeline we're in and where we're going. We are not going into, no, some people may be going into Aquarius, okay? And that's your choice. Aquarius is on I call it the father's timeline versus the mother's timeline, only because the father's timeline is a slower timeline and it is moving, it's a vortex that goes counterclockwise. And how does this timeline work? If we're going into Aquarius, this timeline will work like this. It would have started, the timelines, our current set of timelines started at the birth of Yeshua, okay? So from that point, we either were going forwards or we were going backwards, okay? So people going on either going clockwise or counterclockwise. And the vortex is what meets in the middle. And this is how you can jump between timelines. On the counterclockwise timeline, the first set of, on a zodiac's wheel, which is inverted, and that's another video for another day. The first thing you come to when you're going in reverse, if you're going counterclockwise, is Pisces. So on the Pisces, during the Pisces age, the time periods every year, the number of years that time period added up to is, I think, about 2,500 years. Something like that, something between at least 2,000 years, right? And so if we're going into Aquarius, that means we're about 2,000 years from the cross, from Yeshua's birth, okay? And so that's the only way that works. That means literally the birth would have happened a little over 2,000 years ago, give or take, right? We're in 2023, so we're talking about a little less, almost 2,000 years ago. I think it's exactly 2,000 years. Yeah, I think it's exactly 2,000 years. That would be on the slower timeline. So then you would have time on this counterclockwise timeline to have the Dark Ages, the Middle Ages, 15th, 16th, 17th centuries, all of that, right? That would be on the counterclockwise timeline. And if you want to participate with that, that's fine and well, that's up to you. Now, there's another timeline option. And in the other timeline option, you have from the cross until now, you have a little over 400 years. Now, how do I get that timeline? If you're going counterclockwise on the zodiac wheel, you have Aries, okay? Then you have Taurus. Then you have Gemini. Then you have Cancer. So that's about 400 years on the masculine timeline. And the reason why I say about because, to be honest, the years on I call it the mother's timeline, are not 100. It's 108 years on each slice. And that little tidbit of information is left from us because when you look at the Hindu mantras that you say them 108 times. And so that is how we derive that her timeline was 108 years. And so if you feel like the cross was like yesterday, meaning 400 years is not a lot of time, right? And so a little over 400 years ago, it's actually more than that, because technically we are not in the era of Cancer either. On the feminine timeline, we're in the era of Leo. The era of Leo started in this time, the way that they count on the masculine time, it started in 1992. This information was derived from I always talk about Elder Almond and his Zion sigil, which he said was sent to us from 84 years in the future. Well, that would have been the end of Leo, meaning going into Virgo. So when Virgo was getting ready to start on, I don't know. Now, explaining the timelines is not my forte. So, but when Virgo was getting ready to start, they realized that the women had not advanced enough. Now, I'm a Virgo, so I resonate with this whole discussion. I would have sent myself a message saying, look, you didn't advance fast enough, and we get into this Virgo thing, which is going into, the death and rebirth cycle. So it's really important. Virgo is represented by the Hermit card. So it's really, and that's when you start to reflect on your life. If you look at the picture of the Hermit tarot card, it's a guy holding a lantern. He's looking at the light, reflecting on it. This is your profound contemplation, right? So, we could have been at that point on a faster timeline or something and say, oh, wait a second. They didn't get the information. They missed this information. And so that sigil was sent back to the person who would receive it, which was Elder Almond. Elder Almond talked about it on Black Magic 363. I got the information from there. We were able to put the timeline together like that. And so this timeline, Leo, started in 1992. Now, the thing about, and you can count, and that way you can see the cross. When I think about the cross, it doesn't seem like it was forever ago. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago when Yeshua was here. And if you're on the feminine timeline, it was only a little bit over 400 years. And that's correlated by information in the Bible, which we can discuss that later. I'm just trying to give a brief overview of this so people can understand. So if we are in Leo, the important thing to know about Leo is that is represented by the Strength card. The Strength card is a woman controlling a lion with her might, okay? With her own inner strength. She is controlling that lion, much like Daniel in the lion's den, right? And so if we are going into Aquarius, the problem with that is that in Aquarius, you have a male magician, a magus, who is using the sun and the moon to control things. He's not doing it from his own willpower. Men can't do it from their own willpower. They have to use their wand. Women can do it from our own willpower. And so if you believe that now some man is going to come in and rule over us with the sun and the moon, that's on you. I choose not to live in a reality like that. Now, I will take from that timeline whatever I need, because I understand that in the middle of the timeline, in the middle of the vortex, there's a solidarity point. And in the middle of our zodiac, our tarot spiral, you have the Emperor, the Most High God, who is controlling both sides. And you can use your relationship with the Most High to travel back and forth between the slower timeline and the faster timeline. That's up to you. So and as women, we have a really easy access to do this stuff. Now, again, if you would like to be on this masculine timeline where the men are trying to reclaim their time and they're going to go back to being in power, that's more power to you. However, there's people like me who are not comfortable with that. I want to be on the timeline where I can control things with my own inner strength. I don't need a bunch of, I don't need no candles. I don't need not that I won't use candles, not that I won't use rituals, not that I won't use anything. I can use whatever I want. It's a choice. But if you are on the Magus timeline, you can't use yourself. You only can you can only exercise your magic through outside sources. If you are on the Strength timeline well into Leo, then you could only need yourself. Me, 10 toes down, is going to get what I want. That's up to you. It's up to you to choose which timeline you want to be on, or if you want to travel back and forth between both. It's up to you. Now, people can stop saying we're going into Aquarius. Maybe you're going into Aquarius. I am not. I am well within Leo. I am well within my strength. And so if you want to be in Aquarius, more power to you. But stop saying we're in Aquarius. We're going into Aquarius. Aquarius is coming. Aquarius is coming for you mofos who don't want to get it. Sorry, not for me. Shalom, everyone. See you in the next video.